Welcome to part 2 of how to play the trumpet. We're going to start right off with how to open the case. Seems kind of silly, but it's important that you open the case correctly so that the trumpet doesn't fall out and become damaged. So let's start right off. Here's my case right down here on the floor. I'm just going to grab it and set it right here in my lap. Now normally you're not going to open this up in your lap. You're going to open this case on the floor, just because that way it doesn't have anywhere to fall from. But I'll show you a few things right here so you can see. First of all, the case, a couple things about opening cases. Lots of times the logo, like this one here, is on the top part of the case. That's the side that you would want on top, not on bottom. As you see on the back side of this one, there's no logo. So that's a pretty good clue that this is the top. Also the handle, if you notice, this handle is only on one side of the case. Usually the handle is on the bottom of the case. That way when you open it, the handle doesn't flip around. So that's really important. And then when you have latches like this that open and then have a little thing that dangles down, oftentimes all the dangly parts are on the bottom part of the case, not on the top part. So those are all some clues that which way to open it. Now as we open it, I'll show you. You'll see it's important because if you open it and you have this on the bottom, there's not a lot to hold the trumpet in. It'll very easily fall out. And then the bottom side of this trumpet, you can see here that this case is all molded to fit the trumpet really nice and snug, so that not much else fits in there and it doesn't really move around in that case. And so as you open it on that side, it won't fall out. Okay? So that's how we open the case. All you do is I grab a mouthpiece first, just so I have it, grab the trumpet out. Again, you do this with the case on the floor. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. See how it gets a little awkward when you're holding both? Okay. So you have your trumpet, you have your mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece. We're going to use this a lot. And I'm going to show you how to put it in the trumpet. So all you do is you just set it in there. And then I like to just kind of twist it and kind of push down a little and twist a little. Now, don't tap on it. Of course, don't drop the trumpet, but especially don't drop it and hit your mouthpiece. If you do that, it will get stuck. If your mouthpiece ever gets stuck, please make sure you come to me or your band director and ask them to help you get it out. We have a device called a mouthpiece puller that will be able to pull this out. If you try and twist and wrench, and then maybe you have somebody stronger, maybe your dad or an older brother, try and twist and get it out. These solder points right here, soldering is connecting metal to metal. These points here often will break, and even this one here. I've even had some students who have broken it here and here and here, and then this whole piece doesn't work right, and it will break if you do that. So don't do it that way. When you're ready to take it off, you just twist it a little and it comes off. And if it doesn't, you can twist a little more, but if it gets to like it's really stuck, just come see me. I'll help you get it out. Okay? So that's pretty much how you put it together. A trumpet is made up of a few parts. This is called the bell, okay, because it kind of looks like a bell. Okay, these are the valves. They're called piston valves because they work like a piston in a car, pistons. Okay, the mouthpiece we talked about. You have this is the tuning slide. This is very important. We'll talk more about that. Then you have individual valve tuning slides. So first valve tuning slide and second valve and third valve tuning slides. And then you have water keys. We typically call them spit valves in band, but I think the technical term is a water key. You have your valve, your hook here, your fourth finger hook. And I'll talk about that when we talk about how to hold the instrument and what we really do with that. And those are the main parts that you need to know about the trumpet. So with the valves, I just want to talk real briefly about how to oil your valves in case one of them gets stuck. Now the first thing you need to know is if they're working great, then leave them alone. Don't open these up. You just leave them alone as long as they're working good. And what I mean by working good is when you push it down and you bring your finger up, that valve should come up just as fast as your finger comes up. Okay? If you come up and the valve stays down at the bottom and it doesn't come up, then that means your valves are getting a little sticky. Okay, and sometimes those stuck and it won't even come up at all, right? That means you need to do something about it. Again, if they're working great, leave them alone. Okay, you do not need to oil your valves every single time you play your trumpet, only when they're getting sticky. Okay, so let's talk about how to do that. First and foremost, you use valve oil. This is valve oil. There's lots of different brands of valve oil. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me which brand you use, as long as it's valve oil made for an instrument, made for a trumpet. This valve oil works for trumpets and euphoniums and any instruments that need valve oil. So, tubas. Okay, so here's that valve oil again, so you can see a little bit closer what it looks like. And then as you oil your valves, first thing you're going to do is you're going to unscrew this top part here. Okay, not this part. This can unscrew, and it'll actually take this top part of the valve off of the... Anyways, don't do that. So it's this part here that you're unscrewing, okay? And you unscrew that until it's loose, like this, and then you pull out the valve. Okay, now that's the valve, that's what goes inside. Now what I do is I just try and hold it by the part where you push down, and I just try not to touch it too much. You take your valve oil, and you just put some oil on the silver part. Most of them are silver on the inside, and you just put some oil on the outside of that silver part. Some will drip a little bit. That's okay. And then you just put it back in the valve casing. Okay. Once you do that, as you push down, it may or may not be in the right position, and if it's not in the right position, it won't play. So what I do is I just push it down and then I twist it until I hear a little click. See if you can. I don't know if you'll hear it on the camera or not. We'll see. No. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it kind of clicked into place. And when you get it in the right place, then you just tighten down the top part of the valve. You don't tighten it super tight, just so it's snug and it's not going to be loose. But it does need to be tightened all the way. Now you'll notice that this valve, it does turn a little bit each way, but that's it. It can't turn any more. That means it's in the right place. Okay? And then that's going to work really well. And then when you're done with that one, then you go to the next one. Don't take all of them out at once and set them somewhere and oil them, and you're going to mix them up and get them in the wrong orders. So oil one at a time, put it back. So if only one valve is sticky, then just oil that valve, and you don't need to worry about the others. Sometimes I find they're all kind of similar, and I just oil them all at the same time. Again, doing one at a time, put it back, do the next one, and so forth. If for some reason your valve is not working and you get it, you feel like it's in the right spot, but first couple things to check. You can unscrew that valve again, just pull it out gently, and on the inside there's a number stamped on the valve. So you can pull your valve out and look and see if the right valve is in the right spot. So the first valve, the closest to your mouth as you're holding it, is valve 1. This next one is valve 2, and this last one is valve 3. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And so that's the first thing to check. Do you have your valves in the right place? Second thing is if it's not working right, it may be in the right place, but it's not. It's turned a little bit. On the valve, there are these little holes. See these little holes? It kind of looks like Swiss cheese. Those holes have to line up exactly with the pipes, with the air coming in and the air going out. They have to line up exactly. And they have little guides inside your valve to make sure that they line up correctly. But if they're not set right, then it won't play right. And so you just got to get that guide in the right spot. If you're having struggle with that, put a comment in this video, send me an email, talk to me in class, and I'll help you figure out how that works. And so make sure you get your valves in the right spot. If they're in the right spot and you just blow air through it, just air, the air should blow freely when it's all the way open and when they're all pushed down. If it doesn't blow freely, then you've got some issue there. So So having a cloth with your instrument is really helpful. It's not required in band, but it's really helpful to keep your instrument nice. You're going to have, well, we call it spit. It's not really spit, it's mostly water, but sometimes you're going to have it come out and it might drip on your instrument, or it might drip somewhere, and having a cloth just to wipe things up and then to wipe your instrument down before you're done and before you put it away is really helpful. So it's really helpful to have just a cloth. And this one is just one. It came from Costco actually, and you can buy a pack of them, I believe. Any kind of cloth that's about this size or smaller. You don't want anything much bigger. That way it'll fit in your case. Okay. So we talked about getting it out, putting the mouthpiece on. When you're done, all you got to do is take the mouthpiece off and put it back in the case. Always make sure that your instrument goes in the case the same way, the way that it's supposed to, and it fits in the molded spot correctly. If you put it in the case the wrong way, there's a very real chance you could damage your instrument. Also, never put anything in the case with the instrument that doesn't go there. Now, here, I'll show you. My case, this case here, if I take this trumpet out, has a little slot underneath it. And in that slot, I can fit some things, like this cloth, right? So you can put this cloth in there, you can fold it up, you can throw it in there, I don't care. And then that case, as long as it shuts all the way, then you can put stuff in there. But do not put, the mouthpiece has a spot right here that it goes. Do not put your method book or your band folder or band music on top of this trumpet. Okay, because what happens is, see how this is all molded specifically to fit this trumpet? When I close this case, there's no room in there for anything else. Now some kids think, well, if I put it in there and I shove it down real hard and it still closes, well then I guess there was room. Well, you just created room by possibly bending your trumpet or causing some other problem. So don't put other things in your case. So what I want you to do is practice opening your case correctly, getting out your trumpet, putting the mouthpiece on, maybe wiping it down with a cloth and putting it away and closing it up. Do that 2 or 3 times. It's super simple, super easy. You want to be quick and efficient at that so that when we get to class, you can get ready for band quickly, and then at the end of class you can put it away quickly so that you can get to your next class on time without being late. So practice that a few times. As far as other things you need to be concerned about as far as the instrument, sometimes they come with like a snake. It's called a snake. It's not a real snake. It's like a brush. It's like a little brush on the end of a wire. And a lot of kids try to clean out the trumpets. I would recommend not doing that. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing you need to do is make sure you're emptying the water keys regularly during class. Maybe wiping down the outside of the trumpet. Maybe oiling the valves if they need it. And other than that, I wouldn't do anything else. As long as you play without having lots of food in your mouth, your trumpet will stay plenty clean throughout the year. And then at the end of a school year, take it to a repairman and just have it cleaned once a year. And it'll be good to go. So join us on our next video when we'll learn some more things about the trumpet and how to play. So we'll see you then.